Hi guys, it's Gwen. I haven't done a video in a little while. It's been the holidays and crazy stuff happening over here at my house. And so finally wanted to actually do a video on something that keeps coming up for so many of my clients in all the check-ins. As you guys know, there's so many people that get back refocused for New Year's. And so what happens, that means I have a lot of week one client check-ins, and they are wrapping their brain around the mental aspect. Because at the end of week one, normally they have the nutrition part dialed in pretty good. But now that's where my next question is, okay, where are you on the mental component? So for those of you guys that have not gone on your phone to your podcast app, this was not what I was gonna go over, but on an iPhone, there is a podcast app. And it's already loaded. If you don't know where it is, you just slide your screen down and search podcasts and it'll bring it up. Then you just go to, okay, come on. It's trying to tell me where I am. Things are in the background. Change to only while using. All right, you click on the podcast app and then you click the little search button and you search for Optavia. Optavia Habit of Health podcast. Download it, listen to it, live it, learn it, love it. And you better be working it paired with the new life book. Well, it's not new, it's been since July or June. And in the podcast, you've heard me talk about the Never Binge Again book. I like my clients to listen to that while they're waiting for their food to arrive on Audible, because nobody ever sits down and reads a book for 8 hours in 1 week. But if you flip it on every time you're in the shower, in the car, folding laundry or doing dishes, you'll be through that book in 8 hours if you're a mom. So then you understand the psychology of what goes on in your brain. And then it just, from that point on, I talk about how when you go to AA, they say 90 meetings in 90 days, because they know that this is not a 21-day habit that we are trying to overcome. These are neural pathways that have been here since the beginning of time that we have to retrain. So that's where I tell people, toggle every day between our Optavia podcast and the Never Binge Again Guys podcast. They really jive super well together. Last week, somebody asked me if I was going to coach for him. I'm like, no, I have too much on my plate. I love what I do already. But here's the thing that I heard on an Optavia podcast about a year ago that I really started diving into in the last couple of weeks, that hopefully will help you give yourself some grace on why you've been doing what you've been doing, and it will lead you into Never Binge Again and our Optavia podcast and the life book. Because guys, truth is, you are never going to be successful on any diet, any nutrition program, if you don't fix this. This part is way more important than what you're putting into your mouth. It's just nice that Optavia makes the food part super easy for you. So when people are like yo-yoing, I just say to them, knock off the food. Stop worrying about what's going into your mouth and go download Never Binge Again and binge on that book for the next 4 days. And guess what's going to happen? When your brain gets into alignment, the food gets into alignment, right? Because if you try to white knuckle it through the food first, it's like that addict, that heroin addict, just trying to white knuckle it cold turkey without their drug of choice. That's exactly how we are when we white knuckle it through the food and we're not feeding our brain while we're feeding our body. That is a recipe for disaster. So take that, live it, and seriously feed your brain every day. So here's the other piece of this though. This is what I heard in that Optavia podcast. They said, when you were a baby and you would cry, what would they do? They would stick a bottle in your mouth. So you, from the beginning of your life, learned, when I'm unhappy, food makes me feel better. When I'm sad, food makes me feel better. When I'm sick, food makes me feel better. When I'm bored, because babies just cry to, have a bottle. If you gave a baby a bottle all day long, what would they do? They would drink it. So that's the thing is that these are behaviors from the beginning of time that now as adults we're like, okay, when I've had a bad day does not equal brownies. When I'm sick, that does not equal fish crackers or what, you know what I'm saying, like bread or whatever. Like we have all these things that we created from when we were babies, but then let me put another level of this into there. So when you were a baby, they started you out with either breast milk or formula. Go look at the nutrition labels of formula and go look up the nutrition of breast milk. tons of carbs, very little protein, because that's how the baby's digestive tract works. So the first 6 months, you were living on carbs and baby amounts of protein. Then they introduced rice cereal. Sugar, more carbs, no protein. Then what did they introduce? Vegetables and fruits, more carbs. So from the time you were born, you probably didn't get any decent amount of protein until they gave you that gross baby food that was beef and chicken and all that junk. So you went almost 8 or 9 months with your body growing from the beginning of time on carbs. And that's what we're trying to recondition, is your body, because it's happier with balanced carbs, protein, and fat. But when you don't fix your brain, when you've had the bad day, life is happening, whatever, you want to go back to those carbs because you learned that they were comfort from the minute you were born. So I hope as you think this through, you're like, oh my gosh, because my clients this week were like, you're kidding me. You're right. Like, and I got the beginning of this from an Optavia podcast, but then I started looking at the nutrition of this and then thinking, you know, as you have a baby, how you incorporate real food, it's all carbs. So give yourself some grace. Know that when you are dealing with sugar addiction, which we all are, because we know, and you'll learn this in Dr. A's life book, that sugar hits the same pleasure center in the brain as heroin and alcohol. Guys, this is going to be the broken record of my videos, because I'm going to be saying it 10 different ways because people still see my videos and they still don't, it doesn't click. So that's the thing, is this is a legit sugar addiction. And we know that it normally takes 7 times in AA or rehab to finally get sober for an extended length of time. So if you're this person stumbling across my video and you've struggled and stumbled 3 or 4 times, guess what? You're still in the ballpark. You're still learning how to override those neural pathways that were, as your brain was growing, this is what grew with it, is living on carbs and eating carbs when you were sad and angry and hungry and tired. So give yourself some grace. Keep feeding the brain, because I want every person that I know to be successful. And what I know is, if you're not fixing this, you're never going to stick with this part. And you know me, I talk about my own struggles as well. I had the awesome opportunity of having mono all summer long. And then I kind of got refocused. The holidays were here and I've done okay. And then we've had some crazy stuff happen with my daughter and being her rear-ended, totaling the car. She's my senior in high school, and lots of concussion and body, all this stuff. She's going to be fine. It's just a slow grow. And at the time I was like, you know what? There's always going to be something in life, guys. It doesn't matter if it's your kid getting rear-ended, or your last summer, it was the summer, at the beginning of summer, was my kid that was flying to New York to play baseball. His arm stopped working because he was throwing wrong. And there's always going to be stressful things that happen, guys. So expecting that life to get easy so you can wrap your brain around this is never going to happen. And so, like, for me, I was like, enough is enough. Starting December 25th, I was like, I don't care how crazy my life is. I get to have me back and me feeling back in control. And like I said, things have gotten really crazy with all these things with my daughter. But guess what? The one constant has been me just opening a package every 3 hours, feeding my brain, and staying the course. And of course, because I've stayed the course, I am down 9 pounds in 3 weeks. It's not rocket science. It's just staying the course, but you will never stay the course if you don't fix this while you're fixing what goes into your brain. If anything that I've said has resonated with you, taught you something different, or you have a different topic you'd like me to cover, I just kind of throw videos out there when I'm, seeing something show up a lot in my client check-ins, and that's what's been going on this week. So let me know what you'd love to hear from me, or if anything resonated, comment below, because I never know what sticks or what people want to hear more of or what they'd like. So anyway, hope you guys are having a great January, that you've been able to stick to your goals. And of course, if you haven't been able to stick to your goals, you know what's missing. that mental component. So hope you guys are doing good. Thanks for listening. Bye, guys.